Welcome to my views and news. Saturday, second video. Firstly, Ethiopian war, Ethiopia, Tigray, Irreechaa war. Another effort is being made to stop this war. We saw the first effort a few days ago when Mike Hammer arrived in Ethiopia for around 2 weeks. He stayed in Ethiopia and he succeeded in facilitating direct talks between Tigray and Ethiopian representatives in Djibouti. The talks failed. Now, second effort is going to start in Kenya. We have details for you. Secondly, viewers, Irreechaa celebrations were held in Addis Ababa today. Jawar participated, and participants chanted slogans against PM Abiy and in support of Jalmaro. Several have been arrested. Details for you. And thirdly, viewers, Somaliland, self-declared country in the Horn of Africa, takes pride in being an ideal democracy in this region, has extended presidential term for 2 years. Upper House has extended the term of Somaliland's president, and Upper House has extended its term, its own term as well. Details for you. Firstly, viewers, Ethiopia, Tigray region, Irreechaa war. Third round started last month, and immediately after the start of third round, we saw a diplomatic effort to stop this war. Mike Hammer arrived in the US. Obasanjo arrived in Addis Ababa. Obasanjo was also in Addis Ababa. And UN representative as well. So these international players succeeded in facilitating direct talks between Tigray representatives and Ethiopian federal government representatives. Talks were held in Djibouti. Talks failed. Tigray offered cessation of hostilities. Ethiopian government did not give a positive response. A war went on. But diplomatic efforts never come to an end. And that is the beauty of diplomacy, that diplomacy never fails. Try again. That is what diplomacy is about. So another effort is being made. In coming days, Nairobi, Kenya is going to be the center of some diplomatic efforts to stop this war ongoing in northern Ethiopia. Reportedly, US representatives, EU and UN representatives are due to arrive in Kenya. African Union's Obasanjo will also be there. And there, Kenyatta, who is now Kenyan government's representative for the resolution of the conflict, is obviously there. So another effort is being made. Main focus of this effort is to create consensus about broad mediation panel, which we talked about in the last video as well, that a panel of 3 experts, Obasanjo, Kenyatta, and one mediator from South Africa, a female representative. So this effort, diplomatic effort, will try to create a consensus for the formation of this panel of negotiators. And there could be facilitation for direct talks, another round of direct talks between Tigray representatives and Ethiopian federal government representatives. Will Mike Hammer represent US? Some say he's very informal, he's not serious, but you saw that he delivered a bit, that somehow he succeeded in bringing the two parties to the table a few days ago. So it's very likely that he will be there in Nairobi, and from EU Annette Weber, and from UN their representative will also be arriving in Nairobi in coming days. So far, US is emerging as a key player in the resolution of this conflict. At least US has succeeded in facilitating talks between the two parties. Otherwise, they were not talking. Some sessions have been held in Seychelles, in Djibouti. Will there be direct talks between Tigray representatives and Ethiopian government representatives in Nairobi, Kenya? It's not clear, but if other mediators are arriving, international players are arriving in Nairobi, there could be a round of talks between Tigray regional and Ethiopian federal government representatives in Nairobi, Kenya coming. Let's hope, let's pray that somehow this war comes to an end. Otherwise, you are seeing what is happening. I cannot share graphic pictures, videos on this channel. Thousands are dying for a meaningless war. Ultimately, you will see them sit at the table and find a solution. Secondly, viewers, Irreechaa celebrations underway in Ethiopia. Main program was held in Addis Ababa today in Hora Finfine. Tomorrow's main program will be held in Oromia. In today's celebrations, slogans were chanted against PM Abiy and in support of Jalmaro, OLA's top commander. OLA flag was also seen in these celebrations. Some protesters have been arrested. Reportedly, anti-government sentiment was visible in today's celebrations in Addis Ababa, and we could see this sentiment on display in Oromia tomorrow as well. And that is why crackdown has been launched. Some protesters have been arrested after today's anti-government slogans at the celebrations in Addis Ababa, Ethiopian capital. Down, Naftania, which is a slang word I think used for rascals, I think for those, for bullies, this word is used. And mainly it is used for, I think, people use it for Amharas as well, I think, and for government people who are in power in government. We have two clips for you. First one shows Jawar, who attended the celebrations today. Second clip shows angry protesters. Earlier, Somaliland, self-declared country in the Horn of Africa, has extended presidential term for 2 years. Musi Abdi has been granted 2-year extension. Who granted him this extension? Upper House of Somaliland's Parliament, Gurti. Upper House is unelected, Lower House is elected. This unelected House of Elders has granted 2-year extension to Musibai Abdi, and Upper House has granted extension to the House as well, Upper House, for 5 years. This is the democracy which we are seeing on display in Somaliland. Presidential election was due to be held in November this year. But National Election Commission a week ago announced that it was not prepared. There were technical issues, there were administrative issues, financial issues, and it was not in a position to hold elections in November. It will take at least 9 months to make preparations. So election will be held after June 2023. That is why Musibai Abdi has been granted extension. What will opposition do? UCID, Wadani, will they accept this extension? They have been saying for weeks that they will not accept any extension in Musibai Abdi's term. They have been holding demonstrations. Several were killed in demonstrations in Irreechaa and other parts of Somaliland a few days ago. Some opposition politicians were arrested as well. What will Abdirahman of Wadani and UCID say now? Their response, their reaction is awaited. But overall, I don't think that all opposition parties will agree to Musibai Abdi's extension. Extensions are... we have seen extension in Somalia as well, when Farmajo tried to have an extension. Lower House granted him extension last year, but then Upper House and opposition politicians, they reacted. Somali police intervened as well. Mogadishu police commander intervened too, and ultimately Lower House withdrew the extension. In Jubaland, we saw a few days ago that Ahmed Madobe, regional president, was granted 1-year extension. So extension is not a new thing in Somalia's politics, Somaliland's politics. But that just shows that though in Somaliland there is one person, one vote democracy, which is not in Somalia. So it's a better democracy. But National Election Commission could not be formed because of dispute between opposition and government party, Musibai Abdi's Kalmiye party, opposition parties, Wadani and UCID. They could not agree on constitution of National Election Commission and registration of new political parties. That is why it has led to delaying of elections. Now, is there any mechanism that if there is delay in the holding of elections, there must be someone else in charge of the country, not the president, obviously, who would like the election to be delayed because he is still the president. So I don't know about the law in Somaliland, but it seems that political dispute between opposition and government will intensify in coming days. Opposition will not agree to Musibai Abdi's 2-year extension. Thank you for watching.